Happy New Year. Yeah. Thanks for coming out to the interview show. Did everybody have a good holidays, New Year, and all that? That's great. My house got broken into, and 3 days later I got lice, but that's cool. I'm glad you guys had a good time. It's true, we did get broken into. In fact, my whole family got lice. Let's start with the break-in. The worst part about it was that it happened on one of my vacation days. Every year I have a few vacation days that I haven't used up at the end of the year because we have two little kids, so we never go anywhere. Our idea of an exotic trip is a overnight stay at the Mayan Adventure Water Park in Elmhurst. You don't actually stay at the water park. There's an adjoining hotel. Do you guys know the Waverton? I think it's an Ian Schrager property. I'm not sure. Anyhow, so I had 2 days off, 2 days to kill, and I have to say they were the worst possible vacation days you could have, short of anything actually horrible happening to you. The day actually started out fine. It was the first day of Hanukkah, or Hanukkah was that night, and my 6-year-old was bouncing off the walls with excitement, and I dropped him off at school, and as I do every morning first thing during the holidays, I took him aside and I said, "Listen, remember, Saul, if any of your Christian brethren are talking about Christmas and about Santa Claus, don't worry, there is no Santa Claus." And then I pin him up against the wall, and I say, "But also remember, if you tell any of your Christian friends that, there won't be any Hanukkah either." All right, have a great day, kid. And then I went out shopping because I wanted to make sure that we had 8 presents, just so that every day of Hanukkah was no different than every other fucking day of the year for that kid. The first stop, and this was the present to end all presents. This was going to be the marquee gift, the gift that sent him into a Hanukkah-fueled ecstasy. That's right, an electric pencil sharpener. So I went to the nearest big box office supply store. I went to Staples. The Staples guy sold me the electric pencil sharpener. Then he tried to sell me a warranty for the electric pencil sharpener. And that's a weird place. Everybody's really nice, but they all seem slightly embarrassed. And I think it's because they actually sell the easy button there. I left Staples, and then I went over to Toys R Us, and I spent an hour looking for that game Mastermind. You remember that game, Mastermind, with the code and everything? And then I spent another hour looking for an employee to finally tell me that they don't have Mastermind. Which ended up being fine, because later in the day, I downloaded Mastermind for free on my phone. And that actually worked out great because, and this is kind of pathetic, but we couldn't find our menorah this year, so we ended up just using a menorah app to light the candles every night. I did buy something at Toys R Us. We also have a baby, and he's really into Elmo, because that's what you do when you're a baby. And they've got this amazing Elmo that plays drums. It costs $75. I did not get him that Elmo. I got him a little keychain Elmo. But so then I left Toys R Us, and I was exhausted. We were still gifts short, but I can only take so much shopping, and I decided to go home. And let me just say, I love my home. I feel very fortunate to have it, and I especially like when my family's around me. But when nobody is at my house, those 4 hours a year, they're divine. Just to have everything be so still. I just like to stare at the ceiling and just look at it for a while, and then I start to wander around the house and start to wonder where the hell everybody is, because I start to get lonely. And I wandered into a room, and I saw that this CD case I thought it had been on the bed, and now it was on the floor. And I thought, well, all right, that's weird, but I'm getting old, and maybe I put it there, and everything eventually ends up on the floor in our home anyways. And then I wandered into my closet, and a box of love letters that my wife and I wrote to each other 15 years ago was kind of spilling on the floor, along with some love letters that the two of us wrote to another couple during a kind of experimental phase. So I was like, that's odd. So I walked downstairs, and in the kitchen, there was just a million pieces of glass on the floor, and the window to the back door had been banged in. So you freak out, and immediately I called my wife, and I said, hey, were you reading our letters and then smashing in the window? And she said, no, you call the police. Now, so I don't want to get too much into the actual burglary. Stuff was taken. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been better, like if the thief had just taken our socks. The police came, they were polite, they were courteous, they were professional, and they left. And I was left to clean up the mess. And the cliche is true. It's not the stuff that's taken, it's the feeling that somebody that you didn't want in your house was in your home. Now I know for a lot of people who entertain family over the holidays, that's true for you too. But at least you opened the door. You know what I mean? So I cleaned up all the glass, and then this is the part where I robbed myself. Have you ever driven by a store and you see that it's been broken into, or the glass has been broken and it's boarded up? And they usually have the name like Busy Bee Board Up Company on it. And so I thought, that's what you do. You call a board up company, thinking there's more to the technology than a piece of wood and a nail. We're in the digital age. The board up technology has had to have gone along with it. So I call this guy. It takes an hour and a half to get to my house. He brings a piece of wood. He brings a nail. I think he borrows a hammer from me. 10 minutes later and $165 out, I had my house boarded up. And a fight with my wife. So anyways, we got everything cleaned up. The kids got home, obviously didn't tell them. And we ended up having a wonderful night of Hanukkah. The Elmo was fine, but the pencil sharpener, I'm telling you, this thing blew everybody's minds. My older son loved it, but it was the baby. He was mesmerized by the thing until it broke. 10 sharpened pencils later. So I promised my son I'd get him a new sharpener, and we all went to bed miserable. The next day, I woke up, and the whole day was spent, talking to a detective, and then dealing with going to the bank and changing all this stuff and everything, and then finally going to replace the electric pencil sharpener. So first I went to Office Depot to buy a new one, because I wasn't going to buy another one from Staples. Obviously, the Staples pencil sharpeners are defective. The Office Depot ones are great. So I buy the new pencil sharpener, then I go over to Staples. But of course, I had lost my receipt. So I say to the woman, listen, I really apologize. I'm all disheveled. I've had a terrible day. I'm sweatpants. I look like crap. And I say, look, I'm really sorry, but I lost my receipt, but this electric pencil sharpener doesn't work anymore. And she said to me, well, that's fine. No problem whatsoever. Just show me the card that you bought it on. But of course, I had just been at the bank where I had changed my ATM card. So I'm the crazy man there. I'm like, well, you see, actually, it's a funny story. My house got broken into, actually, while I was buying the pencil sharpener yesterday. So she looks at me all suspiciously, and then she calls her manager. The manager comes over. He looks at me lovingly. He says, just give him a gift card. Get him out of here. So they give me a gift card. I use it all on toilet paper, which they have at Staples. Buy a warranty for it this time, just in case. Anyways, the long and short of it is, go home. This pencil sharpener, which is the second night gift. So now I only have to buy one gift. The first night was a broken one. The second night, you get a good... No, I didn't do that. This one works great. We spent the whole night laughing and sharpening and laughing. We haven't tried the toilet paper yet, but it looks good too. And I gotta say, the board up job was really well done. We might just keep it that way because it looks really good. And I don't want to get sentimental on you, but the best part about it was that it gave my wife and I a chance to read the letters again. And we kind of rekindled the young love that we had once had for about 4 days until we started blaming each other for giving one another lice. Anyway, so that was my vacation. Thanks.